It's a tale that's old as time. Boy meets girl, boy marries girl. Boy and girl have kids, kids grow up. Boy discovers Copart and bids way too much on a vehicle that's not worth it. All right, now I said I was going to work on the Econoline next, but as I inferenced on that intro there, I spent way too much on this little Ranger. Now, having said that, I only bid $200. So it's a Copart vehicle, and if you've ever bought cars at Copart, you know that the fees are getting a bit steep. Now, if you buy an expensive car, they're kind of steep, they're high, but you don't feel it as bad. When you buy a cheap car and your fees are more than the bid, it seems to hurt a little bit more, at least to me it does. Anyhow, I'd be all right. I mean, I think I'm into this truck. I bought it for $200 bid, $300 fees, $500 out the door. Now, as you can see, it's a couple different colors, which I wasn't super worried about. It said it ran and drove, if I can speak. And once again, if you've dealt with Copart, you need to remember that take that as a grain of salt, runs and drives. This is my third vehicle that I bought that ran and drove, runs and drives, that I'm not super sure how they came to that conclusion. First one I bought was a Mini Cooper, and it would start, I wouldn't necessarily call it run, but it would kind of run and billow smoke, and it would move forward very herky-jerky, very, it doesn't drive, but you could put it in a gear and it would clunk forward, you put it in a club, whatever, I'll give them that. I bought a Tiguan parts car, it's been hit in the front. I just bought it for the engine, said it ran and drove, I'm like, cool. It took a minute, but it did finally start. Now when it started, it would blow transmission fluid about 12 to 15 feet out the front because the transmission cooler line had been sheared. And so it didn't really drive anymore because there was not a lot of transmission fluid left. And then there's the Ranger. I'm not really sure how they got it started. It had the incorrect battery in it, and it had a towel on it because the battery was so tall that the hood would hit it. So they put a towel on it so it wouldn't ground itself out or arc itself out and try to weld itself to the hood. Now I have the correct battery in it, and that battery, the problem with that other battery too is the cables wouldn't reach. So they must have used a jump box to start it, and it kind of does start. It runs okay, but it doesn't really go. It's a 5-speed, and when you put it in gear and let the clutch out, you'll feel something, but it doesn't really move. So, like I said, if you're buying stuff if you're familiar with buying stuff from Copart, then you know. If you've never bought from Copart, then just be aware. Buyer, beware. Anyhow, so the thumbnail this video is going to be a tale of two Rangers. So what it is this Ranger I plan on repairing. It needs both front fenders. It needs both doors. Only got two doors. The hood has some damage, and the bedside over there has some damage. It needs a clutch. I probably try to put a timing belt in it just in case. It needs some interior work, and I'm going to paint the whole thing. So hopefully cash-wise, I will be into it less than $2,000 maybe. I bought a parts truck, it's outside. You'll see that. It's not the best looking truck, but it's fairly straight. One fender is a little banged up, but I think I can straighten that out. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. So I'll get this done and then I'll get on the Econoline. It's really tough when you stop a project for a long time to get going on it again, and that's kind of where I'm at. But I really need to get the Econoline done. I want to get it running and driving, and my problem is I'm looking ahead of other rigs. My attention span is like a gnat. Squirrel. So that's where I'm at. So like I said, let's get under this. I've already started taking started getting the transmission out. I'll show you what I've done so far, and I've got 2 bolts that I don't know how I'm going to get to them. So like I said, let's get under there and I'll show you where I've got done so far. All right, like I said, the first thing I got to do is get the clutch changed out. Now I've got the drive line removed. It's just 4 bolts in the back. Let's see if you can see that back there. So there's the rear end. And then you've got obviously the cross member here that'll have to be removed. I've got I guess there would be the speedometer cable and possibly a speed sensor there. And then I've got another sensor up there. And then the slave cylinder or throwout bearing or whatever you want to call it there. This guy was a little tricky. It has this little ring, and it's supposed to have, sorry, I'm trying to get the light where you guys can see it good and stop moving the camera around. Hopefully that's clear. I can't really tell. Yeah, it looks good. I'll back off a little bit. Anyhow, it has this little ring that I think is supposed to have a shoulder on it, and this one is, I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but the ones I've seen do, this one didn't. So this is inserted in there, and what you do, there's little barbs in here that hold on to this guy. So you push this ring all the way inside, and it pushes those barbs out of the way, and this thing pops out. So I've got 2 bolts right there removed. Then there is, let's see here, I think there's, I got these 2, okay, and I've got one inside this little channel here, which is not the best way. I'm not sure what this guy is for. Made a little bit of a challenge. And then on this side, and then there's another one right above it that I did from the top. And then you got the starter over here, which is 3 bolts. It actually wasn't too bad to get to. And then there's another bolt right up here that I had to get off. Let's see if I can get it up there where you can see. So a bolt up there. And then, like I said, the cross member. So let's crawl out of here, and then I'll show you what I got going from the top. Alrighty, now we're up top. You can see right down in there. Zoom in a little bit. There's a bolt there, and then there was a bolt, I believe, above it, or I still have to get it. Yeah, there's a bolt right here where my hand is that I don't think this won't be too bad. The one on the other side is going to be very, very difficult. And there was a bolt, this other bolt on the opposite side. Am I pointing at it? There I am. This bolt on the opposite side was kind of hard to do too because you can't see it. So you just have to kind of reach in there and do it by feel. So yeah, I'm gonna show you all the parts I got to put in here, and just a little 4-cylinder, little 2.34 cylinder. Looks like somebody put a new radiator in it. They got a new upper radiator hose, a new low radiator hose, a new, looks like a serpentine belt tensioner down there. So somebody was doing some work on it. It's kind of funny, the inside of the truck and the under the hood look okay. The rest of the truck is a little ratty. So anyhow, let me show you what I got to put in this thing. All right, so nothing too exciting here. I've got my clutch assembly here with the pressure plate. I believe that's what that's called, the pressure plate. I've actually never done a clutch. I've done brakes a bunch of times. I've rebuilt front end and rear end gears once on one. It was actually on a Ranger. It was a 4-wheel drive Ranger. But anyhow, so here's my clutch. And this is just an Amazon clutch. I mean, if it's a Pro Max or a Clutch Max Pro. But it should be fine. Like I said, it's a little 93 Ford Ranger 4-cylinder 5-speed, 200,000 miles on it. It'd be a good little pickup, but it's not, you know, there's not a lot of power there, and yeah. So anyhow, and I went ahead and got a new flywheel. I wasn't sure if I should do it or not, but I've seen people where they just kind of sand down their old flywheel. You know, they put a little emery cloth, a little whatever to kind of scuff it. And I could have done that, and I probably could have got away with it just fine. But I looked into having it resurfaced, and I think it was like an average of like 70 bucks, and this was 80 bucks. So I'm figuring, why not just do that? Got my alignment tool, obviously. Got to have that. I've got a little baggie of, looks like some sort of little O-rings. I'm not really sure where these are going to go. I'm hoping I'll figure them out, or I won't need them. And there's like a little roll pin in here. So, and then I got a new pilot bearing. I think that's what it's called, pilot bearing. And I have a pulley for that. My dad has one he's letting me borrow. And the new, it's like a throwout bearing, but they call it a slave cylinder on the Ranger. So, and this is what I showed down below where I was disconnecting it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Let's see if you can see the barbs in there. Yeah, you can see it, but it's not focusing. Anyhow, you can kind of see them in there. Camera's trying to focus. There it goes. There it goes. Yeah, there you can see the little barbs. So anyhow, so that little plastic or nylon ring, you're just pushing those down because they just grab onto the connector down there. So, and this is just your bleed. I didn't know what this line was for, but that's just how you bleed it when you get everything installed. So, anyhow, having all said all that, oh, and some little dowel pins for this guy. So hopefully I can get it out, for one, and two, I could put it all in and it'll actually work. So, but I can't do none of this until I get the transmission out. I have a transmission jack, just a Harbor Freight one I bought off of Facebook Marketplace, just 60 bucks. Should work perfect. I got to get the shifter uninstalled in the cab here, and I can show you that real quick. Okay, so normally you would have to unscrew this, but that's too slow, takes too long, so I just lifted it up. That's a joke, it was already unscrewed. So what you got to do to get this shift lever off is you take this nut off of here, then you put it on this side, and it just pulls it out. But so that should be pretty simple. But anyhow, look at over here. This is Crescent. Hey, buddy. He's a good shop cat. He's pretty chill. He's a good boy. He's a big boy right now. It's wintertime here in Oregon, so he's all fluffy and eating a lot. All right. I'm gonna get after those two bolts, and hopefully they won't take super long. All right. I'll get back to you when I get them out. All right, fellas and ladies, I'm back at it. Last time I talked to you guys, I think I had 2 bolts I was trying to get out. There's one on the passenger side, the top of the bell housing, and one on the driver's side. I was able to manage to get the passenger side one out. You can actually kind of see it, and So I was able to get a wrench on it and get it out. The last bolt I have is the driver's side. Now, I can get a wrench on it, but I can't get a good pull, a lot of torque, you know, power on it, which I don't have a lot of power, but, and I try to put a couple wrenches together to get a little cheater, but you know, that works if you have a lot of space, but if you don't have a lot of space, it's really tight in here. Everything just flexes so much, and then you end up running out of space. So I ordered this Duratech. It's about a 14-inch, 13-millimeter wrench. This is probably going to be my last shot to do it from the top. If this doesn't work, I'm probably got to do is remove the transmission cross member and then have a jack on it, and then maybe lower it down, and the whole assembly will kind of tilt like that. And then maybe I can get a really long extension up there to get that last bolt out. I've watched several guys, you know, doing clutches, and the ones I saw, they never really talked about this bolt. They probably just assume if you're doing a clutch, you can figure it out, and that's for the most part true. But I'm trying to show maybe a little different stuff, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, where you don't need to show it. You know, I don't know. So it's been a little while since I was working on it. It's, you know, through the holidays, I had to work some overtime. My wife's birthday was yesterday. So, you know, just family time is important. So I want to make sure that I do that. And I work on this really when, you know, when everybody's out and about and working and that kind of stuff. So this is like my free time. Anyways, let's see if this big old 13 will get it off of there. I'm not holding a lot of hope. The biggest challenge is getting it on. There's a little bit of angle on that head. The ratchet side is pretty straight on, just a teeny tiny bit of angle, but I've just stepped up here for the first time with it. So let me see if I can even find the bolt again. You gotta let me get a flashlight. Maybe it kind of helps you see, but not a ton. Okay, that flashlight's dead. Excuse me. I just unplugged it. Okay, so I'd bring you over here to look, but I can't even see it myself. And these stupid glasses, you'll see me stick my head up in the air and at the camera every now and again, and every time I see it, I just cringe. Bifocals suck. So don't let your eyes go. Eat a lot of carrots, supposedly. I don't know if that helps. Let's see here if I can find it down in here again. Dang it. So there's the nope, that's not the transmission. There it is, right there. Might be on. Nope, not on. Problem is there's a wire bundle right in front of it too, so you have to kind of push it out of the way while you try to put the wrench on, all kind of at the same time, and it just wants to pop the wrench back off. Trying to go over it, but it doesn't really work. Trying to go under it kind of works. I'm not really sure why what I'm missing here, because I can feel it really good. It should just go on. Probably one of those bolts that it's not a 13. No, I know it's 13. I was torquing on it fairly decent before. Maybe it's on. I think I'm just gonna strip it out. All right, I'm probably gonna have to pause you guys because you're gonna be here for an hour trying to watch me try to get this thing off. So, all right, I'll get back at you if I get it, or if I have to go and get it from I got to take that cross member off anyway, so it probably makes sense to not fight it from up here, but it'd be nice just to get it, and then I can pull it, put the transmission jack on, pull the cross member off, pop it off. So let me pause you guys while I fight this thing. All right, success. The 14-inch wrench helped, but the problem with it was its angle, it didn't have a good enough angle to get on the nut, the bolt. I keep saying nut, screw, and bolt wrong. Bolt, very good, or straight or whatever. It just barely could grab a hold of it. So I did the old cheater bar. Now, I tried this before, but I tried it with like a couple of wrenches that equaled probably more than this, but not this much. And this thing flexed pretty good, but just having this alone, it flexed less than having the other ones on it. It just worked. Now, using a cheater bar or a cheater wrench or whatever, you know, you got to do that at your own risk, because you know you're putting a lot of torque on the wrench you're using, and you're putting a whole bunch of torque on that bolt or nut or whatever you're removing. So you know you could break it. You definitely could break it, but I've had a lot of luck doing it. You know, like I've mentioned before, you know, I'm not really that big of a guy, and so, and I mean, I do all right for my size. You know, I can put some pretty good torque on a bolt, but I can only do so much. So I end up using cheater bars, you know, where I have to. And like I said, I've had success doing it. So this should be the last bolt I need to get off. Now, the good thing about being not, you know, Sasquatch, you know, Jared or Derek size is I get my arms down in here, you know, where I don't know if Derek can stuff his arm down in here. So almost got her. So next we will get underneath it. We will start, probably put the transmission jack up underneath it and start getting that transmission cross member disconnected and everything. And oh, this bolt's got like like some kind of flange connected on it. So, whew, there we go. That was a lot of work for that one bolt, but that's the way it goes. You spend 20 minutes taking off 5 bolts and a day taking off 1 bolt. All right, so let me get repositioned and we'll get underneath the truck, and I'll see what I need to do to, what tools I need to get that cross member off and get that transmission jack up in there and get it holding that transmission. Hopefully we'll be popping that transmission off. Yeah, all right, let's get it. All right, we are under the Ranger, as you can tell. So I've got to get these 2 bolts out, nuts off, sorry, get these 2 nuts off. I can't say, I never can say it right. And then there is the cross member bolt, nut and bolt here. That whole assembly will have to come out, I believe. And then, sorry for the drunken filming. And then where are you, buddy? Oh, here you are, right here. And then here's the other one. So these, all the nuts are 18 millimeters. And the back side of the bolt is a 15 millimeter. So I'm gonna set you guys back over here and get her done, and then we will be back at it. So that's just gonna be what you're gonna see. You can see it here. I'm working over here, Move you back maybe a little bit. Tilt you up. Great image, yeah. That's attractive at all. Okay, so here, and over here. Yeah, so now I could take all this stuff out, as long as I don't pop these bolts through, it's gonna sit here. And then I can get the jack, which is over here, and bring it up in. So let me get after that. See if this, if I can do it with my little baby guy here. I might have to get the big one out, so it's gonna be kind of loud. I'm still old school, air impact, so I don't think this will turn. Let me see. Yeah, look at that, nice. Let's not put that there, because that's where the jack's gonna have to go. I got stuff everywhere. I'm not the cleanest of, I'm a little messy. There we go. With my air compressor. Now this, I might be able to do, this is a little, you could use a 15 deep well here. And you can get that on, and then put that on, and generally it's deep enough. There we go. Yeah, it's turning, so we're gonna put a wrench on the other side, hold it. And voila! Now I probably should have sprayed these with some knocker loose, but they're doing all right. All right, on this side. Again, you gotta pop it off, put the socket on, and then put the extension back on, because it doesn't quite seat because the bolt's a little long. Ow. I could probably put this up against the frame and not... Yeah, that was a lot easier. So when you're doing something like that, I'm holding this wrench, right? And that impact wrench is hitting it. And so it's just like shaking your hand, so just smacking your hand like, 100 times a second. Well, if you're smarter than me, if you've got a solid piece of metal to set that wrench up against, like the frame, then the frame takes all the hits and your hand doesn't take all the hits, so ouch. So anyway, so that's, everything's off. All right, so this is a used transmission jack that they just kind of wadded up the strap here, but that's all right. Just have to hold it loose. There we go. And you just it's got like a breaker bar. And you can just, you should be able to just turn it around, I think. I think once it's just kind of jammed right now. Okay, maybe it is a little tight. I'm gonna go get a ratchet. This thing's tall enough, like pretty high, so I can get it out of here. I think I'm clear. There we go. So it's got little slots in this jack so that when you get it on the transmission, I didn't even notice this, that the little tray you're setting it in will tilt, not quite centered, but it's going to have to do because of where the exhaust is. And you just have little wing nuts you can tighten up. My hand, I don't know about getting the strap around it, might be a bit of a challenge. I know it shouldn't be too bad. I think I can kind of cheat. Go around this way. Go get it over the top. Oh, I'm probably hitting the shifter up top. Still got to do that too. I guess I got to take the shifter out. Okay, so this thing's good to go. So let's get a little more crank on it. There we go. That's lifting it up. So now I can knock out these cross member bolts, or it just looks like you just pull them out. I gotta have to smack that one a little bit, maybe. There we go. Little brass hammer 9000. Okay. So now this should theoretically come out of here. Looks like it's got a wiring harness hooked on it. Pop that guy out pretty easy. Easy-ish. I got some big old giant needle nose pliers and I'll pop that sucker out. There we go. Come on, come on. Alrighty then, there we go. Just about took the camera out. So the transmission is supporting, transmission jack is supporting the transmission right now. Looks like I've got, there's a brace right here, if you can see where my hand is, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, okay. So this guy right here is, it's got a brace on this side that's supporting the exhaust. I don't really want to take that guy out, the bolt over here out, because it is nastily rusted. Looks like I might be able to just take maybe this large bolt out. There's a bolt. See on this side, you can see this bolt here. There's a bolt right on the other side. I think I can take that out, and then that little bracket will drop. How big that is. It looks pretty good size. Let me see what I got down here. I got a 17. I don't think it's bigger than 17 by quite a bit. Yeah, by quite a bit. Okay, let's go to my little kit I have over here. Jumps up quite a bit. It's 21, which it might be a 21. No, it's just not a 21. That's way too big. I'll have to get to my other seconds. And we have to still, like I said, we still got to get that shifter off before we drop it. I got to remember that. Back. I'll try a 19 here. Yeah, 19 works. Alright, so let's hit that sucker with a 19. Heel impact. There we go. Come on. Nice. So the 19's off, and so I can just take this. You can see it in the camera or not. Kinda. So you see this down here. See this swivel in here? Yeah, so there's a brace that goes over and it connects to the, it looks like it just wraps around the exhaust. It doesn't actually, yeah, it's supporting the exhaust. So what I could do is I could slide the support off. Just a little flashlight tap. So this is the guy. So this is sliding on and then bolted to the transmission. So I just got that off. Now the transmission is free to be yanked out almost. Almost. So I got the top, the shifter. Need to get the strap hooked on somehow so it doesn't fall off the jack. I was trying to think I could sneak it from behind, but I don't know if I can. I might
Might be able to lower it a little bit. Hope it doesn't fall on me. I'm not sure what I'm... Yeah, well, I'll have to see if I can snake it up, maybe from the other side. All right, let's go up top and get that shifter off of there, and then we will come back down, because that's got to come off first anyway, so. All right. All right, we're up top. Like I said earlier in the video, I showed this, but from what I've seen, you take this nut off, and then when you put it on this side, it pulls it out. It's got some kind of like tapered edge inside, so it's that, and it's just like a little, I don't know, not so much a compression fitting, but so let's see what we got here. We want off. Let's see if I can just do this with this wrench here. If it's gonna, I probably should have. Ah, there we go. So that was easy. Broke it loose. Spinner off. Well, you guys can see that. If I keep the light over there, you guys can see it pretty good. Yeah. Super interesting. But it might help. It helped me when I saw it the first time. So there's lots of places you can see this, but figure if you're watching mine, maybe you've never seen it. So. Okay, and this is a 17, yeah, 17. So now I want to put it to tighten. You can see that bolt pulling through there. If you guys can see that, it's really easy now. Well, yeah, basically pretty easy. Yeah, you can see that bolt pushing back through. There we go. That's it. So yeah, there's a little weird little tapered slot there. I don't know how clear it is. But so this just pulls right off. Sweet. Whoop, and my free glass I got when I got the Ranger. So that strap I'm trying to put on, I'm hitting right here. So I need to see if I can lower the. Maybe there's a little, looks like there's a little cover that needs to come off still. I don't think there's any. I think this will just push down in. I don't think I'll keep it. That's going to keep the transmission from dropping. Yeah, there I can just pull that up off of that, and then the transmission will drop. All right, let's go back down. Looks like this got it's like stapled to the carpet or something. I don't know. Anyhow, let's get back down below, and all we got to do is get that strap. The strap secured on there so it doesn't fall off the transmission jack, obviously, and then we should be able to just work that thing out and lower it down. This is, oddly enough, the first rear wheel drive transmission I've ever pulled off. Like I said, I've done a lot of little stuff. I've just never done a clutch. So I've taken engines and transmissions out of Volkswagens and separated the engines and transmissions before. So that's just sitting on the floor. It's not a whole lot different, but this is first time. So we're doing it together. All right, let's get back underneath there, and see if I can get that strap hooked on, and then we will pull that thing out of there. All right.
All right. All right, so I got it on the jack. I built a little cap to cover the end. I double gloved it and put a microfiber towel over it, and then take the snot out of it. I wanted to use some really good Gorilla tape,
but I couldn't find my Gorilla Tape, so I just used some cheapy painter's tape, which, of course, so I used a lot of it. That's a good thing about using that, is you don't really care if you use a ton of it. So the strap is on. It's kind of on the tail. This ratcheting part doesn't work very good. It doesn't hold down very good. So what I probably need to do is just replace it with a better one at some point. But it's snug. It's only got a hold of the tail. But I mean, if I need to go up, I need to go down more or up more. I'm not sure which. I don't know if it can really come back. I'll probably have to get a pry bar or something. I think it's probably stuck up top is probably the problem. Just a second here. Let's see what it looks like up top. Oh wait, I think I gotta take a part off the top. It's catching on it. Yeah, there's a collar on top I gotta take off, so let me take care of that. Okay, I'm back. I'll show you that collar. Running over my towel that I'm laying on. Hung up on something now. I think the top is hanging up. Hanging up on the exhaust a little bit. Okay, maybe not. And that's it. That's as low as you. All right, let me back out of here. Then we'll roll this puppy back as far as we can. Oh. Okay, that's about as far as she's gonna go. Let's grab a flashlight. We'll get up in this transmission and look at see what we can see. Doesn't need to be crazy bright. This is what Ford calls slave cylinder. To me, it's a throw-up bearing. This is what disengages the clutch. She's a little crusty. Not sure what all is supposed to turn. I think this thing is just supposed to turn. And I don't know if you can see it, or you probably can't hear it, but maybe see it. It doesn't turn good. It's pretty dried up. Transmission feels okay. Easily enough. All right, let's go with this is just going to be 2 bolts, I think. This guy comes right off, and then we put the new one in. That'll be quick and easy. And then let's go over to this side. Get you guys up over here. And a nice angle so you can throw up. Little drunken cameraman here, I gotcha. All right, so there is the old clutch and flywheel. So the starter didn't fall out, which is nice. There it is, you can see it around the corner there. So yeah, so she looks a little crusty, rusty. I don't really feel any broken springs, but we'll get that out of there. Looks like I got a bunch of bolts I got to take off here. Some will be a pain to get to, but I should be able to get to them all.
All right, we're gonna get after this guy first. Mostly so I can say I accomplished something today. I mean, I got the transmission out, so that's a pretty big deal. If I can get it loose here without the... There we go. It's a 10 millimeter, and it's turning the transmission. Come on. That strap just doesn't hold it at all, so it's just barely sitting in there. Gonna have to try to loosen it here and then hold the transmission at the same time if I can figure out a way to do it. Yeah, that kind of works. Let's try to get the impact driver in here and maybe that'll help me. I can just rip it off and not have to ratchet it. I do use a little bit of tools if I can figure out where I put it now. Which, oh, I know where it is. I think it's in the back. Let's see if this guy can do. This isn't super powerful. Yeah, no go. No go. Not really that torquey of a tool. It's good for pulling stuff off once you've maybe loosened everything, or it's more for building fences and stuff like that. Jeez Louise. I want to get my big impact for this. It's a little silly to use a big impact for 10 millimeter, but it might make it possible. Nothing like overkill. Nice. See? That's so much easier, isn't it? All right. This guy just pulls right off. Nasty, nasty. Crap in there. All right. So this guy. Pull the little covers off. Looks like it's a little bit. This guy here needs to be tweaked down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Boom. Now it's on. All right. These guys, I think they got some kind of Loctite on them. I'm going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on them. You can see, yeah, you can still see what I'm doing. Those will probably all be sped up because I don't know why I'm talking. You're not going to be able to. Let's pull this guy off here. This guy, run these guys in. And then I'll take this off. Not ratchet, not the main ratchet, but whatever. That's the Ryobi one. The Ryobi one's not that. Good. There we go. See, that one spins really good. A lot smoother. All right, now we're going to turn our attention to this clutch. All right, I'll try to do as much of this as I can kind of down here. Let's put this a little closer so when it's out of your guys' way and it's out of my way. And I got this camera thing in my face here. Whatever. So, sorry, the flashlights. So I got to take off. I'll take off as much as I can from down here, and then I will get up in front of it. And then you're not gonna be able to see it then, but I should be able to get as much as I can. See what size. That a 13? Looks like it might be a 13. Look at that, 13. I just happen to have 13 right there with me. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, that's you need the flashlight still. There we go. Okay, so I'll do as much as I can from down here where you can see, which it's not like it's a huge deal. I'm just going to take all these bolts out. Come on, there we go. Talked about it before, this little gun is still Harbor Freight. So this should be the blood pressure plate, and the clutch should come off altogether. It's been on there for 200,000 miles, so 20 years of clutch dust. All right, it's enough. Another nail pin here. Oh, there was movement. There's some movement. The clutch is probably going to fall out of there, but I don't care. Maybe the clutch is... Oh no, it's good. I'll say that flywheel looks pretty good, but it's got... Up in there. Up in here. Up in here. There we go. There we go. And the dowel pin broke, so that's why I have a new flywheel. You can see it. Let me see if I can get the flashlight here. Here we go. See, there's no little teeth in it anymore. You're just about to the rivet, so little springs aren't broke. But yeah, it's done. And the flywheel, it doesn't look bad, but from there, but it's got cracks, stress cracks all in it. Now, you know, like I don't know if they may be able to resurface that, and that's not a big deal. But that dowel pin broke off up here. So I have more, and it's possible you can just smack it out from the back side. I don't know. So we gotta get this flywheel off, which I'm assuming is a 13. Also, if I can find that, that's bigger than a 13. That's an 18. It's not an 18, but oh, close. It's 17. Looks like. All right, 17. Yeah, 17 feels good. There we go. I'm assuming it's going to be kind of stuck like the other one, but I can do this again without falling on my head. I would think these bolts are a lot longer, so I can probably get away with, yeah, maybe just one. I just need one. I need something for it to hang on. They're plenty strong enough for it to hang on. It's moving. Well, it's wiggling back and forth. I don't know if it's coming off. Let's try the big boy, maybe. I said the problem with big boys is it's almost off. On the bolt. There we go. Oh, nice. Now I got a new paperweight. Right, so let's pull this cover off. I gotta get to the, like I said, I don't think this one's leaking, but, oh, it looks like she's leaking a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely leaking a little bit. Little seepage. Problem with this one is you have to like put like a screw in there, like a self tapper, and yank it out. It's not a very good design. There's a newer one, an updated design that it just kind of has a flange that's the seals in, and that whole flange just bolts on the back, and then you just unbolt it, and it's actually a lot like a V-dub, modern Volkswagen. I don't know about old stuff. Someday I'll work on old stuff, but anyhow. Get that a little clean so I'll make sure that other one fits on here. That might not be the rear main that's leaking a little bit. It might be the pan's leaking a little bit. So this truck is not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. But it needs to be able to drive. My initial intent of getting this was to teach my girls how to drive a stick. My oldest is not home right now, so I don't know if she lives in Arizona. Her husband lives in Arizona. But my youngest is still home. So, all right, that's not too bad. So I've got, that little bushing feels really good. And it looks good. What I can see, it doesn't look bad. So I don't know. We'll see if I'm going to pull that out or not. I think it's got another 100,000 miles in it. But yeah, this seal, you can see that. Can't tell. Let me get you up here. All right. So yeah, that brown seal, that's the rear main seal. I'm going to try to pull out. And then the little pilot bearing or pilot bushing is right in there. It's just got little needle bearings. I don't know if you can probably see up in there. I'm looking at all kinds of stuff. Thing in the center now. I've got a hard time with centering the camera now. But yeah, the only way I've seen people do it is they put like self tappers in here, then they try to pop it out. So that's what I'm going to have to do. Hopefully that won't keep me from starting to put it back together today. All right, let me get set up. So let me go see if I can find some stuff to do that. And hopefully it won't be a nightmare. And I haven't drained the oil in it yet, so hopefully the oil doesn't sit that high. I doubt it does. I doubt it sits that high, so I think it does. All right, let me get set up, and then we'll be right. All right, I got my, here we go. I got the bearing puller, or the bushing, or whatever you want to call that little guy in there. Got it on, and it just simply puts two little jaws up in there. If you can see up in there, get up in there. It's got two little jaws that go inside, and then as you tighten it up, if you tighten this bolt here, and it just slowly, it forces those guys out and it pulls out. And then the rear main here, you can see, I've seen some guys just put a self tapper in there, and they slide hammer it. Well, I don't have I have a slide hammer, but I don't know if I have an attachment I can grab a hold of a self tapper with. So I put the self tapper in, and I kind of tried to pry it with the screwdriver, and it pried hard enough to pull the self tapper out. So obviously a slide hammer wasn't going to work anyways, because it's just going to pull it out. But making the hole there, I was able to get a pick in it, and then get a screwdriver in it, and then now you can see it's coming out. So it's not like I said, it's not all the way out obviously, but it's coming out. So but I wanted to make sure you guys saw that. See it now, I can just pry it out. But and there may be a better way. There may be a special tool. I have seal pullers But I don't think they'll fit in this guy, but probably once I got that hole, then I could have used it, but anyhow. So yeah, so now it's coming right out. I was a little worried about it wasn't going to come out. Whoop. So anyhow, so I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna finish popping the bushing out, get the seal out. Probably try to put the seal back in right away because it looks like it might drip a little bit. And then there it goes, just coming right out. Coming right out. Sweet. Now the puller's in the way, so. But yeah, see there, it's totally loose. So I finished taking this off. Where's my wrench? Crescent wrench. There it is. All right, so then let me set you guys back here so when this thing pops off, I don't, doesn't fall on my face. I'm trying to avoid getting hit in the face today if I can, if at all possible. Flip this guy around so I can see what you guys are seeing. So I'm looking here. Yeah, you can kind of see. Let me see if I can move this flashlight to a better angle so it's not, so you can still see, but it's not right in the middle of front of the camera. Yeah, you can see it. All right, so nothing crazy to watch, but you just, whoops, I want to go the other way. I have to tighten it, not loosen it. So, I was going to say about doing this is there's other ways to get these bushings out. You know, people do the old bread and the oil, the grease and the punch. Well, this tool makes it just infinitely easier. Now, this is a tool I borrowed from my dad, and he had to buy it. Like, I think he had to go to a store, auto parts store, and buy, which you could still do. I mean, you can still do. But it was expensive back in the day. You know, now today's, with, you know, all of our online stuff we can do, they're not that expensive. It just makes sense. Some of these tools, there we go. It just makes sense just to go buy the tool. So there's the bushing on there. And now we've got a clean surface. Everything ready to go. I'll throw my rear main in. Make sure I got some crap up in here I probably shoved in there. Oh, that's probably just, and then I'll put my bushing in, and then we'll be ready to start reassembling everything. Just that quick. All right, we're back. I got the new seal kind of lightly put in there. I just put some grease around the end of the crankshaft, and it was kind of a snug, but you kind of had to get it just, this is tapered just a teeny bit, and I kind of just pushed it on. So now what I'm going to do is try to use an extension and a hammer, if I can. I just took oh, there it is, way over there. And a little excessive hammer, but sometimes having a little excessive is nice, because then you can just give it a real light tap. You don't have to be too forceful. This gives you more control that way. Like she's going in, you kind of slide it around and perfectly straight. That's the key. Is this one? It's not super bad. It goes, like I said, it goes in pretty nice. I've never done one quite like this, but done similar ones. Here we go. Nothing to it. Double check that that's nice and flush all the way around. You don't want it in there too much of it. You want it in there pretty straight. If you have it a little bit angle, I mean, it's a pretty decent sized surface. You can get away with a little bit, but you want it as square as possible. It actually has a double seal. There's a little seal on the outer lip and then another seal on the inner lip. And the grease, put a little grease on there, or just a little oil or something to help it slide on and to help it lubricate it initially, so when you first start it up, it's not totally dry. All right, the next one is the throw out bearing, throw out bushing. What I try to do is
Lightly tap it in. Looks like it's going in fairly decent. Not being too aggressive with it.
Going in, and I'll get a socket. Now that I've got it started, socket, there it is.
The idea of the socket is you're trying to hit it equal all the way around. Where tapping it in like I was, it works, but you run the risk of pushing all, see that's going in nice. You run the risk of putting all the pressure on one spot, and you can kind of bend it or fold it over, and then you'll mess it up. But by using the socket, it puts all the force on all the way around. All right, I got the flywheel up here. Trying to find, hopefully this flywheel will work. I'm trying to find the right pattern. I don't know why. Getting a little nervous that this isn't the right flywheel. Although the holes do seem to change. I've got 6 different patterns, so hopefully this isn't like a flywheel for a 4-liter or something and they're different. It's the closest I've seen, but still not lining up. I'm a little nervous here. I think I've done it 6 times. Nope, there it is. Of course, I had to start a 1 off, so I had to try all 6 possible patterns before I found the right one. I don't know if that's a balance thing or why you think it would be even. The holes are just off enough that, I don't know, but it said you're supposed to take them like a quarter turn all the way around till this seats down, but this seated pretty good, so I'll have to do that. Then I do like, I think it's 24 foot-pounds, and then you do 60, and I think then to 78, so it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, hold the flywheel or something, but we'll get back to you when I'm done with this, and then we'll be throwing clutch on and getting ready to put it back together. Already, we're all finger tight. Get the ratchet. Do the star pattern so you get it on there nice and even. I mean, like I said, it just laid on there really good. So I see it's going to want to turn. So I hit compression, it'll hold a little, but not a lot. Not for what they want on it. All right, I'll get that taken care of. And then we will be back when I'm getting ready to put the clutch on. Yeah. Cool. Fun. Neat. I've done this before. I don't know why I've said that, but I say it again. All right. I'll be back when I'm all torqued down. All right. I'm just finishing up. If you can see, I think, let me see if I can tell. Yeah, so all I did is I have this really long pry bar and I have it in the tooth of the flywheel and it's just sitting on the floor. So that prevents it from wanting to spin. It actually worked out pretty good. I've already done them all, but I'll just show you, what I'm doing here. So, so I just got this new torque wrench, so it's digital, so you can hear it. It's pretty cool. So you got 75. Like I said, I already did them all, but I'm just demonstrating that it does. You can't hold it. I'll just go around and triple check I got them all. Not a great angle, but the torque wrench is so long that it gives you that leverage I've talked about before. Alrighty, that is all of them. Sweet. Next up is to put the clutch disc on.
So we got the clutch disc here. Trying to minimize my hands on. So this is a little bit different style. I'm assuming that doesn't matter. This one has 5 small springs, and the factory one had 4. I think it's going to matter. That in there. That up there. Yeah. Like I said, I'm new to this, so I've already sprayed everything down with brake clean to get all the oils off of it from the shipping. I'm trying really hard to keep my fingers off it. I had to put in some dowel pins into the flywheel that were provided. That helps you line all this stuff up. Looks good there. Let's get a bolt started up top here so it'll support it. I don't think it's totally seated on those pins. I'm not sure if it's starting or not. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it's going in. All right. So now I watched one thing when they were talking about putting these clutches in, and they said you want to lift up on this just a hint right before you really clamp it down, because it'll sag just a teeny bit, which I think it'll work, but I think it maybe just helps you line everything up when you go to slide the transmission back in. We have to get all this back in and get the transmission back in. Oh, dang it. Oh, man. I got to take it all back off. Yeah. I got to take it all back off. So I got to put this guy on. This guy needs to go. I don't think I can. Maybe I can slide. Oh, you got to be kidding. Let's get this guy out of the way. Never mind. Oh, I think I can get it on here. Thing is, there's a little, like, locator pin that goes on there. And a little locator pin that goes on there. Oh, thank you! Whew! I was not excited about having to take that all back off. Yeah, see, that just goes. Whoa! Dodged a bullet on that one. The B-dubs, you can't just slip it over. It's a solid piece, but luckily this Ranger, it's like a little fork, so thank you. I doubt the engineers meant it for that, but I'll still say thanks for designing it that way. I'm trying to do this one kind of blind here. And the reason you have to use this, if you don't know, is that's where the transmission's going to go. The drive shaft, the input shaft goes through there and through those through those flanges, and the disc actually rides on the shaft of the transmission. So, and once I get it all in there, it'll sandwich it against the flywheel and the pressure plate, and it'll stay. But you have to have this little guide tool to keep it in there while you're putting it all together. So once I get this all tight, that guy will just pop out. I mean, probably most of the people watching this have seen that before, but maybe not everybody, so I got to try to remember that when I'm doing this stuff. Maybe somebody's seeing this for the first time. If that is, cool. I'm kind of seeing it for the first time too. I mean, like I said, I have an idea, and I'll use my impact driver to get it all installed, but then I'll go around with figure out the torque spec, and see, that's pretty tight now. When I first did it, it did raise up a little bit, but it's pretty good now. So gotta get them all. Just triple checking I got them all. See, that just pulls right up now that it's tight. Now when you push on the clutch, it pushes here, and all those little fingers, they let that clutch disc come loose of the flywheel, and then when you let the clutch back out, it lets it clamp down again. These springs clamp down again, and it engages the clutch, which the transmission is splined to right here. So that's the super quick layman type explanation, but that's the gist of it. That's how it works. All right, these are 35 foot-pounds. I'm gonna have to stick my pry bar in here again. Tick it. Impact driver got kind of close. Like I said before, that's impact driver's more like a build and fence type impact driver, but it works. Like I said earlier in the video, this isn't a money-making machine. I'm going to make a whole lot of money on it. This is but it is a good learning. Like I said, I'm going to paint it, swap out a bunch of parts. Just putting a clutch in is a big deal. I've never done it, so. All right. Now it's time to bring the transmission forward. Pretty good so far. So that's higher. Let's see if I can get that strap loose. Try to put the cross member in. Am I still recording? Okay. So I think I got it in. I'm going to put the cross member up now, and then I'll start putting bolts in if I can. Well, I'm gonna fiddle with it for a while. I've already recorded a ton. I'll be cutting a lot because it's just sitting here recording, and I'll get back to you when I get it in, and I'll explain how it finally got it. Most likely just going to be wiggling and shoving and wiggling. So, all right, I'll be back.
All right, so I got everything back together. I didn't really show it all because I'm just bolting stuff back up. Getting the transmission in was a little bit of a challenge. Not too bad. I got it started, but then there's splines in there that you have to get to meet up. So I could get it really close, and then it wasn't quite right. So you just have to kind of pull it out, kind of wiggle it around, and kind of shove it at the same time. It's hard to really explain. I'm sure most of you guys have done it. If you haven't done it before, it wasn't too bad. That little the transmission jack helped with that little scissor lift. It was able to kind of go in past the little cross member that for the suspension. It's not actually, doesn't hold anything up, but it's a piece that goes across. And then it eventually just kind of slipped right in. Then I was able to get all the bolts started and got them all in. Actually got all the bolts in, got the starter put back on. It goes back together way easier. I found a ground strap from the block that was just hanging. I hooked that back up. And now what we're doing is I'm trying to bleed the clutch. I've seen a bunch of different videos on how to do it. One of the ways everybody was saying is you get one of these little vacuum pumps, vacuum gauge, brake bleeder, and you can place this tip. It's got a pointy tip on the end. Hopefully you guys can see that. I can't see it too far away. You're a little ways across the Ranger, but I'm sure you can see it. Anyways, right there. and you just kind of place it down in the bottom of this little master cylinder reservoir, and you kind of get it down in there tight so you can pump it up and pull a vacuum on it. Supposedly the master cylinder on this clutch is, I mean, you can kind of see it, it's, from what I was heard, it was kind of downhill this way. This one looks like it's this way, so maybe it's a different generation, I don't know. But I'm just holding vacuum on it, and hopefully it'll pull any air out of that system. Now we'll try this, and then we'll go down below and we'll crack the bleeder on the slave cylinder also, and see if I get any air out of that, and I can pump it up and pull air out of that too. But we'll start up here. The clutch feels okay. I don't remember what it felt like before. I haven't, my work car, my daily is a Volkswagen with a 5-speed, so I felt that clutch, but I haven't driven a clutch Ranger in a long time, so I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to feel like. It feels kind of springy, so, and it may be perfect, maybe good to go. I haven't really got a lot of air, like right now, it's holding vacuum. I can pump it up to about 15, a little past 15 inches of vacuum, and it's holding, so that's good. That at least means there's no leaks within the system that can pull air in or leak fluid out. But what you're supposed to do is you pump it up to good vacuum, and then you pull it out, and hopefully you'll pull some air bubbles out, and any air bubbles you pull out, when you pull it out, the fluid in the reservoir will fill that space. So I've already done it 3 or 4 times. The first time I started pulling, I forgot to pull it all the way out, and I just started sucking all the fluid out, which is fine. This is like, 200,000 miles worth of fluid probably. I did get some, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, this stuff's pretty black coming out of there. So I'm gonna pop it up here. And that's the vacuum I was pulling. That's not air I'm pulling out of the system. It didn't really drop much. So I'm going to do it one more time up here, and then if I can find there we go. One more time up here, because like I said, I've already done it 3 or 4 times. Just pull it up, and I just bought this is a Harbor Freight. This one was a little more, they have a cheaper one, which probably would work, but this had all the little tips and pieces and little extras, so it was on sale, like $47. Normally I would probably just do an Amazon buy just because I'm lazy and cheap. But I wanted to do it today, and so this is actually the next day from last time I was filming. So, but hopefully we'll set her on the ground and we will be driving it out of here. So like I said, I'm holding vacuum there for a minute, and then I'll just pull it out. So I'm not getting a lot of air. I mean, there's some air maybe in it, but I don't know if that's just from turbulence or what I'm doing. So let's reset down below. It'll take me a little minute. This looks good. Well, maybe I'll leave that off. That way I can check it when I'm down below. You want to be careful with brake fluid, brake oil. It will take the paint off of your car. I don't know what it's made out of, but it is. I'll bring this closer. Maybe you can see how nasty this is on camera. So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that's some pretty nasty clutch fluid. So like I said, let's reset underneath it and see how it does down there. All right, so we're back under the Ranger now. So you could see that little silvery tip right there. I think it's focused. So that's the bleed. So what I cracked it a little bit, and it's already drooled out a little bit of brake fluid or clutch fluid. It's brake fluid. It's the same stuff. So I have to do. Let's see if I don't know if I could do this all one-handed. So put the wrench in here. It barely fits in there because it's around a corner. I need to make that nipple just a little bit longer. Let's see if I can change hands here. Now it's gonna drool out, which is fine. It just make a little mess. So I gotta look at that, not look at the camera. So it just barely grabs a hold. There we go. It's okay, there
there, just see it dripping a little bit. There it's drooling, so what I'm gonna do, we're gonna call that good enough. I'm gonna put my, let me move the camera off to the side while I put this guy on here. Okay, so now I got the end of the vacuum pump on there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can pull some air bubbles out of that line. Let's see if we can see that line really. So we got fluid coming out of it with some nasty fluid. Just let it pull. It's holding the vacuum, so it's pulling on it. So what I'll do is I'll just do this for a couple of times. I'll make sure I got some fluid up top. We probably need to do this till it comes out clean. Then we know we've replenished all of the old nasty brake fluid with clean fluid. Doesn't look like it's really pulling any much more. Holding vacuum. All right, I'm gonna have to maybe crack it a little bit, check, make sure. I don't think I've pulled anywhere near all of it out, so let me put the camera down, and because I don't think there's any. All right, my card ran out of space. I think I did what I was trying not to do, and I think I sucked all the juice out of it. So I've been back up the top. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to push the clutch, and I believe you can see right there, you can see the fingers on the pressure plate and the throwout bearing / slave cylinder. So if this works, this will be in the video. If it doesn't work, you're never going to see this. But I'm going to push the clutch in, and we're going to see if we can capture that thing moving. So that'd be kind of cool. We can see it in action. I think I got the clutch working enough to do that. So let me get up here. So hopefully it'll move right about now. So that should be moving. That clutch feels pretty good. So I'll probably pull vacuum on it from top one more time, and then we'll call that good. That feels good. All right, we'll be back up when we've got this puppy on the ground and ready to fire her up. Okay, we're gonna give her a shot here. Now I'm just gonna kind of roll forward and roll back. I'm not gonna drive it. I've got a new large tool coming, and I have my Kubota out front with some forks to try to unload it if I needed to, but sounds like I won't need to. So I'm gonna pump it up one more time, I guess, because I seems like every time I there it is. Where's the seat adjustment? Where's the seat adjustment? I'm gonna just start this over again. There it is. Short. Okay, so I'm not going to drive it right now, but I want to pull forward and pull back just to see if it engages. I mean, that's before it would just kind of like I think I mentioned earlier in the video, it would just kind of, you know, like something was like you were trying to be pushed by a cloud, but it didn't really go anywhere, right? You felt the cloud hit, and then that was it. So let's see first if it'll start up, and then we'll put it into gear. So I took the shifter off, and I don't know if I got. Oh, there it feels better. Okay. So hopefully I'm in neutral. Let's see if it'll start. There it goes, like purrs like a kitten. Yeah, see, it doesn't want to go into gear. So I don't know if that's. I don't think that would be clutch. Whoop. Yeah, so the clutch isn't.
disengaging maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I got something wrong. All right, let's try this again. Had my dad come over. He's done a lot more of these than I've done, and I should have recorded it, but he thought the clutch felt weird. I thought the clutch felt weird. My brother thought the clutch felt weird. But what I ended up doing is I literally just I bled it more. And it seems like it's good now. I'm just gonna do the same thing I tried a minute ago. We're just gonna pull it forward and maybe go out. I might go out, turn around, come back. Just go down. I have a long driveway. Let's try the long driveway and see if it works. Let's see if she'll start up. Well, that's one try. Let's try again. It seems to start up okay once it starts up, but or run okay once it starts up. I guess that doesn't make any sense. Start up okay once it starts up, but all right, here we go. The clutch releases right off the bottom of the floor, so if any of you guys have any ideas if that's just the style of the clutch is pretty stiff too. I thought, my dad was saying, well, maybe it's a little more heavy duty clutch than factory. Anyhow, stop talking and let it roll. And that's it. That'll do it for this episode. We'll catch you on the next episode. When we start tearing it down, I might have to do a little more bleeding on this clutch. I still don't think it's quite right, but I don't know. But it works. Drove down the driveway, seemed to do fine. Went in reverse, everything, so it's all good. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.